And Adam Silver making his press run seem real defensive. It's almost like he's defending the perception of the NBA. As he sat down with Colin Cowherd, we're going to start off here. And Silver is almost beat down to submission, actually admitting that sometimes the game does somewhat get too repetitive. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I'm going to throw this at you. I said this the other day about the aesthetic of the NBA. It's a bit homogenous, a little cookie cutter. And I said, listen, I don't mind three-pointers, but if the NFL was just you could run the ball and throw bombs. No layering, no drag routes, no tight end screen. It was just run it or bombs. Optically, it's not as fascinating. And I love the three-pointer. But like, and you know this, you're a pretty progressive thinker, I think. Athletes are better. Wemby can pull up and cross you over on a dribble and shoot. They couldn't do that 10 years ago. And the truth is, because your players are so gifted and it's such a global pool, the three-pointer is too easy. And I have simply said, I would put the three-pointer, I would have it go into the bench about 6 feet up, eliminate the corner. I'd bring back the hand check. I do like physicality. Your athletes are so great, it's become too easy to hit it. And the optics on it are repetitive. I think there's numbers, ratings that prove people are, they like layers and power forwards and physicality and not just dunks and threes. What do you do to solve that? Because I think you've engaged with people and acknowledged it can be a bit repetitive. It is a bit of an issue. What do we do to change it?
The hardest question is the last one you asked. What do we do to change it? I agree to the extent that you start to see very similar offenses around the league. You know, teams have brands, teams have identity. You know, Joe Dumars is a colleague now at the league office, the Bad Boys, et cetera. You know, I think, you know, the Showtime Lakers. So I recognize that to the extent that offenses start to look very similar, we lose that. At the same time, the league is going through a transformation. Just as you said, players like Victor Wembanyama, players like, you know, Jokic are doing things big men never did historically. I mean, It wasn't that long ago, Colin. You'll remember that conversations you had with David Stern, we would bemoan the lack of skill among some players, that, you know, there was a sense there was too much physicality around the game.
Yes.
That the play under the basket, you know, that you would have, you know, the Hack-a-Shack era. You know, there were big men that just couldn't shoot free throws. There are no big men anymore who can't shoot. Free throws, just as one comparable from generation to generation, have never been higher. So I think we just got to be careful. Like, the one thing I want to do is, I don't want to sort of knee-jerk move the three-point line. We're sort of going through a process now, seeing how these players are adapting to the new rules and figuring out if whatever changes we should make. I mean, to be honest, I wish it were as simple as just moving the three-point line back, because then we would just do it. I mean, part of the concern from the basketball folks is that if you move the three-point line back, you'll end up sort of just clogging up, you know, the sort of the area under the basket. And that's not such attractive basketball either. I think this is doable. I think by examining the game and sort of seeing where it's going, I mean, it frustrates me a little as well, because it's obviously you're representative of what a fair number of people are saying about the game. And I watch it night in, night out. And we're seeing some of the most incredible athleticism and skill in the history of this league. I mean, again, Victor Wembanyama. But I think you're also saying, too, that if we move the three-point line back, and what we ended up with was Victor Wembanyama standing under the basket the whole time and just waiting to dunk, that wouldn't be interesting either.
Right.
So you know, one, I assure you, we are on it. I think it's a very fixable issue.
It is a fixable issue. But one thing that stands out is the acknowledgement that the analytics, quote unquote, the data, what the data says. Silver used to love to say that. A lot of that analytical bullshit, it does not translate well on television. This is pretty much the acknowledgement of this. And this is nothing new. People have been saying this since the James Harden, Houston Rocket years. Outside of that fan base, nobody liked the way they play basketball. That was not enjoyable to watch at all. Just a bunch of dribbles through the legs. It's either going to be a layup for a foul or James Harden just shooting a three. That is just not good basketball.